Hello, it is Throwback, Thursday, August 15th, 2019. Steve Sipress here. We are halfway through the month of August. Time is flying. And we are into a typical mid-August week here in way too sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, hitting about 110 degrees every single day. So today, Throwback Thursday, I just thought I'd share a little story, and there's got to be a lesson in there somewhere. Jeremy Danley is here. Jer-Dog, great seeing you. And so, Jer-Dog, I asked you yesterday if you would put that link to your awesome next event sales page up into my private client forum. I'd love for you to put it there. It'd be awesome. So I can have some of my other clients see the fantastic work you do. I know you put it on the video. I'd love to have you put it in that private group. Anyway, enough one-on-one messages to somebody who's here, but that's the way I roll. If you're here on my live videos, you get to interact. You get that one-on-one attention. Anyway, so I was just thinking back to a story. I know it goes back a little over 10 years, about the day I first met Mark Victor Hansen, and that's because I just came from hosting my twice-a-month CEO Scottsdale event with our prime sponsor, CEO Space, the #1 rated business accelerator conference by Forbes magazine and Inc. magazine and all that kind of stuff. Mark Victor Hansen was there at the very beginning. He was one of the earliest catalysts. I believe it's about 31 years ago when they first launched CEO Space. And actually at a CEO Space event is where the idea for the Chicken Soup for the Soul book series came out of. Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen was there, and they got together, and people were like, yeah, you ought to do this book, and it could become a series, and blah, 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 and 165 different versions later, and millions of books sold, and they sold the thing and walked away with millions of dollars, and that all was birthed at CEO Space. So this local CEO Scottsdale group that I'm running just started about a month ago, and now had our 4th or 5th meeting here, is a local club of the CEO Space National Forum. So that's what I was thinking about Mark Victor Hansen. And I remember the time I first met him. I was running a group, a monthly chapter meeting I had for the chapter, the Chicago and the Northwest suburbs, it was called. There were 3 different chapters in the Chicago metropolitan area. I had the one for downtown Chicago, useless. In case you have to wonder if you've ever been to downtown Chicago, nobody ever wants to be there or go there, and hardly any people ever get out alive. So that was not a hotbed of clients. But the Northwest suburbs worked real well. That's the territory I had for the Bill Glazer, Dan Kennedy marketing group, GKIC, Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle, that I ran the Chicagoland chapter. And Mark Victor Hansen came in on a book tour. And I'm trying to think of which book it was. It was either, I think it was Cash in a Flash, book that he did with now how do I forget? Somebody help me out here. You know, if my Michelle's trying to help me out. I'm drawing a total blank. What's the matter with me? Streams of internet income. 24-hour streams of income or whatever. What's his name? Man, how do I forget? Alan. I forget his name. But anyway, they co-wrote this book. I think that's what it was, Cash in a Flash, and they were on their book tour. And so I went to downtown Chicago and bought a couple of cases of books. And my strategy here was, by buying a couple of cases of the books that they both authors had to sign, that gave me a whole bunch of time with the authors to hang out and talk to them. If I had only bought one book, like almost everybody did, then they, sign the book and I'm out of there. But here, if I had 24 books they had to sign, well, I got to stand up there for at least 5 minutes and have a conversation. And so I remember Mark was like, what do you do? What's going on? What are you doing? And I said, I run this group, the Bill Glazer, Dan Kennedy group. And he was like, oh, because Mark Victor Hansen and Dan Kennedy go way back. And Mark Victor Hansen is actually on the original Dan Kennedy magnetic marketing program, or at least the second version. He's got one of the bonus interviews with Mark Victor Hansen, who is an amazing ADD entrepreneur. His mind is going so fast. So many brilliant thoughts go through his mind so quickly. It's a really entertaining interview to listen to. But anyway, as soon as I said I'm the Dan Kennedy guy for Chicago, he was like, oh man, I'm trying to get on their stage. Can you get me a meeting with Bill so I can get on the stage? And so my first thought was like, really? Me? Like, Mark Victor Hansen is asking me for a favor to get him an in with, I was a little shocked because I had this my first foray into this world of, within a couple of years, I had the largest entrepreneur group in all of Chicagoland, and so I became very well known, especially to all the speakers and authors that were contacting me nonstop to try and get on my stage or do a webinar or have me promote their course or their book or their anything. But at that point, I was pretty new to the game, and it was pleasantly surprising when Mark Victor Hansen basically treated me as basically an equal, as a colleague. Just had a conversation. As soon as I said the magic words, I'm the Dan Kennedy guy for Chicago, that vaulted me from just another guy in the crowd, an adoring fan buying a couple of books to sign, or a couple of cases in this case, to, hey, can you help me out? You're somebody. So that was very cool. I remember that. And then I asked him to do a little video, and he was hilarious on the video. I think it's still on YouTube, but he said something like, I'm here with Steve Sipress from Cypress Island. And then he went off on a typical ADD entrepreneur tangent and started talking about an island and how the water's fine and come on and swim. And I was like, Mark Victor Hansen, where'd he go? He's off in a la ADD entrepreneur land. But it was a fun little video. And every time after that I saw Mark Victor Hansen, again, it wasn't like an adoring fan is going up to one of the most prolific business authors of all time. It was, a couple of colleagues in the world of being authors and speakers having a conversation and connecting and talking to each other. So very cool. So lessons to be learned from that. Number one is the lesson when you're at a book signing, buy more than one book. See, I had clients. So of course, I just brought the couple of cases back and gave them away to my clients. So they were all happy. And so I invested $500, $20 a piece probably, $480 into some books, but my clients loved them. But more importantly, for that $480, I bought that time with the author. So the next time you're at a book signing, instead of just buying one book, sometimes they put a limit on it. They don't let you come up with a number of books because they got a big line and, we got to give everybody a chance. But, that they usually say that if you bring them from home. But if you buy them there and buy multiple copies, how can they turn you away? They're there to sell books. You bought a bunch of books. You want them signed. Gives you time with the expert. And if you play your cards right, you can parlay that into some cool opportunities like have already come from my meeting and my getting to know Mark Victor Hansen and so forth. And future is bright, and more things I'm sure are due to come from it. I'll probably have him speak at one of my events soon and all that. The next thing is to really step up and become somebody. You can do it by association. See, I became the certified Dan Kennedy advisor for Chicago, and that moved me up in the eyes of Mark Victor Hansen and many other people, from prospects and clients to other authors and experts and speakers. It moved me up to be able to say, I am the certified, hand-picked, no BS marketing advisor for Chicago for Dan Kennedy. Oh, wow. You're certified by Dan Kennedy. You're the Dan Kennedy. I was always known, you're the Dan Kennedy guy of Chicago. Oh, that everywhere I went, it was like, oh, there's the Dan Kennedy guy of Chicago. So before I was somebody, now, of course, I go around and go, there's Steve Sipress. But when Steve Sipress was nobody, I mean, when I first started that thing, I was still working as a consultant with a Yellow Pages publisher. And I say it often. If I had said, hey, come to the event of the Yellow Pages guy, like, I don't think that's filling up the room. But now, if I say come to the event of Steve Sipress, people showed up. And if I said back then, I said come to the Dan Kennedy event with the certified Dan Kennedy advisor, well, it helped fill up the room. So you can elevate your positioning by association with someone that your target your ideal clients, your target audience will put you in a higher regard because of your association with a big name, a authority, an expert, a celebrity in your field. And then the next lesson is you then want to connect on an even playing field with other celebrities, authors, experts, or whoever it is in your field. Like, for instance, Dan Kennedy, Mark Victor Hansen, were on an even playing field. We're both top speakers and authors for small business owners. I was not. But by being able to be able to let Mark Victor Hansen know I was the Dan Kennedy guy for Chicago right away, and of course being on the line, I heard him talking to other people. He didn't do this with anyone else. He looked up, stopped signing the book, looked right up and said, oh, you are? Oh, that's great. Can you get me Bill Glazer's phone number? Now, as it ends up, I was like, look, I can't get you to Bill, but I can get you to his assistant, because Bill was too smart than to be able for even me to get a hold of him, even when I was his top promoting chapter. I had the largest chapter in the whole thing. I was his top promoting guy, but even I had to jump through the hoops and get through the walls to get to him. But Mark was very happy with that. Oh yeah, sure. Give me her number, and I did, and hooked him up. And what do you know? Mark Victor Hansen was on the stage at an event of the Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle soon after that. I was like, hey, there you go. I helped make that happen. Maybe I did. Maybe it would have happened without me. But I'm going to, in my mind, believe that I helped make that happen. And I also, right there on the spot, even though I didn't believe it in my head, by Mark Victor Hansen stopping signing the book, looking up as if like, oh, I'm not just signing this for nobody. Here's a somebody. And I was like, wow, I guess I am. Then you step into that role and you become that somebody. So there's the tip for today on Throwback Thursday. And thank you, Jeremy, for doing that. I mucho apreciando it as we ride, not really into the sunset. The sunset is behind me, in case you can't tell. I have to keep moving the camera. There it is. I got the big ball of sun coming out of the side of my head. Oh, my head is burning up. My head is experiencing climate change right now because the sun is blowing up on my head. I need to steal everyone's tax dollars and give it to all my cronies to solve this problem, or we just go like that, and suddenly the climate has changed again, back to normal. I guess I don't have to steal all your tax dollars. Anyway, thank you, Jeremy. Awesome. And thank you for being here on Throwback Thursday. I will be back tomorrow on Foundation Friday. I have a basic foundational business building tip that I will share with you. So thanks for being here live. Thanks to anyone watching on the replay. Thanks for the participation, Jeremy, and for posting that link into my private Facebook, my private client forum group. And I appreciate the likes and the shares and the comments and all that kind of stuff, because Facebook loves that. And when people engage my videos, they show it to more people. And then I get to meet more cool people. And they get to meet me, and the world becomes a more fun and cool place, because to me, that's what it's all about. So that'll do it for Throwback Thursday, and I'll catch you tomorrow on Foundation Friday. Over and out. Bye-bye. Oh, Jeremy says that was a great story. Thanks. Well, thank you for listening. Was it? I mean, thank you for listening to the whole thing. if I practiced it more, I'd probably, not take up so much of your time and be more succinct about it. But anyway, I really appreciate that feedback. Thank you very much. And I'll catch you tomorrow, everyone, on Foundation Friday. Over and out. Bye-bye.